Uh, how to prevent another Fort Hood shooting. This is Nidell Hassan, who finished um, college here at Blacksburg, Virginia Tech, near Roanoke, where I live. He was a psychiatrist, became a psychiatrist. He shot all, well, he was programmed to, so actually he didn't, but shoot the people in Fort Hood. He's probably going to be put to death for it, and the truth's never known. So that's the thing you have to do is first you have to admit the crime of mind control by the United States government, members of it. Here's, he is again, and you wonder what happened, right? This change in behavior that they call either mental illness or radicalism or, okay, here's Timothy McVeigh. He told everybody that the U.S. military had put a transmitter chip up his rectum, which causes mind control. He can't do anything about it. He didn't ask to get it. You talk about freedom of speech and freedom of mind, freedom period, that does away with it all. And he was called the villain, put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing. You got Terry Nichols that's still in prison and will be till he dies. This is William, and I'm not going to call him Prince because he's not legal. But here it talks about that he has a chip in England in 1995. A Buckingham Palace spokesman said that young William, heir to the British throne, which is not the legal one, had a microchip. This was in Project Lucid, which is your New World Order. And I have to say that here, the New World Order consists of Elizabeth. Doesn't she look pretty? Her clothes looks quite the lady, right? She has been photographed, and the Netherlands, the Queen of the Netherlands is related to me too, the same relation that Elizabeth is. She just stepped down, and her son is now the king. I believe I'm correct on that. But this is where the war crimes are prosecuted. This is where they're taking the evidence they say they gathered from Assad, that they're going in and suddenly, they've put it off because Great Britain said they weren't going to comply and go in with the United States. So now there's been a wait in, anyway, my point is that if the Queen of the Netherlands and Elizabeth, who's the illegal monarch in Britain, she serves the best interests of the United States. They put her father in, George VI, took my father out and kidnapped me and installed their own monarch for their best interest and put all the military bases all over Great Britain, and the British were held hostage and made to die for the United States. And you think the British celebrate the 4th of July? I hope not. They kidnapped me, the real monarch. So I'm hoping that since the British have declined this to go along with it, I hope it's symbolic of me going home, being returned home. They've held me hostage here. This is the 31st of August. In 83 was when Dr. Larry McDonald's plane went down. It was en route from Juneau to Russia, and it was shot down by Russian MiG, and it was a Korean jetliner, KAL. All aboard died, and I became a candidate and was flown to Larry Flint's, who was shot by a program person, and his attorney killed. I began finding out my real identity. I wouldn't have known it had it not been for the British sacrifice and the Germans. So I don't lose it here. Elizabeth and the Netherlands, I'm assuming now, that's the war crimes. Do you think that the United States is going to be hauled in to the Netherlands. They control it. They control the monarch system there, just as they did in Great Britain, and I hope that's about to end. You think that they would bring any of this about me and Elizabeth? She's part of the New World Order. They're not going to say a word about it unless they're forced to. Now, there's your nice-looking queen. Now then, here's another of the century 16 and the mind control murders. They make this picture of him. He's a nutcase. He's paranoid schizophrenic. They give him all kind of shots to torture him. I'm sure he wishes he was dead. He's under mind control. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. It's programming by a government agency, and you can Google it. You can YouTube it, and there's plenty on it. So don't pretend it's not happening. It happened a long time ago, the programming and behavior modification. If that isn't a violation of civil rights, I don't know what is. This is Eric Rudolph. He was up on the Appalachian Trail at the same time I was trying to live, starving and freezing. Do you think anybody helped me? No. It didn't matter what I had on me. I would take out the Hustler magazine where Larry Flint wrote an article about me, editorial, which was good. And the person that shot him was programmed. And he stated that I knew who was responsible. Nobody listened to it. They were too busy wanting to see the naked babies. Babies? Well, I didn't mean to say that. But hell, I don't know. This won't go either, will it? It'll get rejected. I said hell in it. I didn't mean to say babies. I meant naked women. Some of them are young, I guess. But anyway, Larry Flint did the best he could when nobody else would. Anyway, this is Eric Rudolph. I've gotten totally off, but he was under mind control. He's in prison for the Olympic Park bombing and for Alabama abortion clinic. He was programmed. Here is, excuse me, you can tell this isn't prepared, right? This is Jens Zorings. I met him briefly just before in the campaign, and I'm going to have to hurry to get this on. He was a diplomat, German diplomat's son. This is the Haysom murders that were tried in Bedford right next door to me. This is a mind control murder. He and Elizabeth Haysom, it was her parents that were murdered, were students at Virginia Tech, the University of Virginia. And suddenly they go berserk. At least they didn't try to say they were crazy. Anyway, they're in prison. He's in Buckingham State Prison of Virginia in Dillwyn. Now then, if I sound exasperated, I've had psychological terrorism used on me all my life and my two sons. Because this country took out my father. It wasn't even he that married Wallace Warfield Simpson. It was a double. And my own uncle and Joseph Kennedy, who was ambassador to Great Britain then, and Roosevelt, and members of the New World Order. That's the Bilderbergers, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, connection to the Jewish treaties when they kidnapped me in 41. These treaties are all illegal, to put bases on British soil and make British fight against themselves. But if they want to talk about using chemical warfare on somebody, they should bring it back and show me and what's happened to me, and they should also show the programming and the psychological warfare used on the British people and the Americans, since they don't seem to care about anybody but themselves. This is my Uncle George again, and Mrs. Roosevelt. This is Queen Mom, as she was called, illegal, Elizabeth's mom, and George's wife, and this is the great President Roosevelt, the killer. Well, I hope this